Tips for physical therapists from prosthetists. Today we're talking new transfemoral amputees. And we want you to take away one thing: hip extension. Let me repeat that. I want you to take away one thing: hip extension. Now, let me tell you a little why. Let's start with what we will teach a new amputee the first time he's up on a prosthesis. You have to understand that there's nothing normal about this walking. You have to train your brain that you now need to use your butt, your hip extensors to control this prosthesis. It's the hip extensors that are going to control heel, strike, heel placement. It's the hip extensors that let you progress over this uncomfortably long prosthesis without doing the old man gait. It's your hip extensors that are going to provide propulsion. So we like to talk to our new amputees that it has to always be on. Now obviously, turns off for a moment while they swing it forward. But we don't actually have to talk about that. They get that naturally. But if they get that, if they have it always on, you'll see them progress much faster than if they don't understand that they need to be doing that. So please join us in making your amputees progress faster by teaching and training them to be firing their hip extensors, to be strengthening their hip extensors as their pre-prosthetic physical therapy. Some other reasons why this is important. Most of the time, people that have had a transfemoral amputation had a period of time that their leg was sick and they weren't effectively using it. So they've been weakened there. The actual surgery to create a transfemoral amputation leads them in a mechanically disadvantaged position. So that muscle is weak and mechanically disadvantaged. And then even in recovery, yes, when they're laying down and sitting, they're not thinking of firing their hip extensors. I've had patients through the years that quite literally had zero hip flexors, and they were fantastic walkers because they had great hip extension. When it comes to certainly, abduction is important as they get more into this because it allows them to have a nice upright posture if they're not walking with a cane or a walker. But even with that, there's things that we can do to change that and make that easier. So, please keep in mind one thing. Work those hip extensors with your patients. You'll see the difference the second they get their prosthesis and get walking. Thanks.